Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Opportunities presented by Procurement Act 2023. My name is Darren Ovolin, and I'm here with my colleague, Kat, who is behind. We're procurement specialists within Essex County Council. I'm responsible for sustainable growth, social value, and climate, and she's responsible for facilities management category. So today we just want to talk about the opportunities. I better check that I'm speaking to the right people. How many people around the room know that there is a new Procurement Act? Just one, two. Okay, all right. I'm not sure that if my next question then follows, because I was going to ask, what are you expecting? Or from what you've heard so far, what are your expectations? Changes, good, bad, opportunities, risk? Can I get a feel around the room? Anybody heard about the new Procurement Act? What have you heard so far? You haven't heard anything? Oh, okay. Speaking to the right people then. Sorry, gentlemen, you raised up your hand. Yeah, so what, yeah?
Yeah, I'm just aware that there is one.
Okay.
And no doubt after post-COVID and the amount of money that was handed out, there's probably some restrictions coming.
Yeah, okay, yes, yeah. So, but any thought about what's supposed to be like? Easier, to navigate the public procurement space? Anything, any?
That's why I'm sitting here.
Fantastic, I'm speaking to the right people then. All right then, so I'm going to move on then, okay. So, yeah, you really did put that well. That's some of the reasons we've had, or we've heard. Yeah. So today I'm going to be talking quickly about the objectives of the new Procurement Act, the key changes, and the opportunities they present, and where our resources are in terms of this. Now, please, I want us to have a chatty session. If you think, Darren, you say that's an opportunity, I don't see that as an opportunity. I see that as a risk. I see that as there's no change there. Please feel free, okay? Because I'm keen to hear from you whether these are opportunities, whether it's going to work for local businesses, and what, in particular, Essex should be doing to support you guys. Because we're keen to support smaller businesses. So please, show of hands. I know we only have 20 minutes. I speak fast anyway. I'm going to rush through anyway. But, feel free to ask me questions as you go along. And I'm going to try and slow down and interject. Once I go through a change and the opportunity it presents, I would slow down and get your feel around the room. Is that all right? Okay, so let's shoot. Now, the Procurement Act objectives. If you look at it, I'm not going to repeat everything around, but this is what the new Act is trying to achieve. You could see there, includes matters such as creating new businesses, tackling climate change, improving supplier diversity and innovation. For me, I see new, smaller businesses there. Of course, it's still talking about value for money, public benefit, sharing information, and we're going to get to all of that soon. Integrity, barriers to SMEs. We must be seen to be reducing or removing those barriers, and then treating suppliers the same. So we're going to look, does the opportunities it now presents, does it match the objectives they're trying to achieve? Now, currently, we do have, this is what we follow, the bidding process. Open procedure still remains the same, one-stage system, on the new Procurement Act, okay? And then you cannot restrict suppliers here. All of this has now become this, the competitive flexible procedure. This is where the opportunity is. I will explain further. The negotiated procedure without prior publication, that's now your direct award. So in cases of emergency, just like we had with the COVID situation, or security reasons, we've got to quickly, direct award. But of course, there's a lot of barriers within, not barriers, but again, guided. You've got to ensure that you put a transparency notice before you do that, okay, to signify to the market that that's going to happen. But I think this is where the, opportunity is, the competitive flexible procedure. And I will tell you why. Because it now tells us, local authorities, you have the ability to design a procurement process that will suit your need. And it talks about pre-market engagement to do that. That means we could come to you guys and say, look, we're thinking of buying or procuring this. Let's co-design it. We're thinking this way. You will tell us, Darren, the market is not like that. I don't think you should be pricing or doing your structuring that way. So that co-design is where I think, what a great opportunity. We can talk to our local suppliers. We can talk to anybody, actually, on how we're shaping this and how we're thinking. And you can help us with our thinking and guide us. So when the tender comes out, you're able to engage with it better. What do you think? Am I wrong? Do you think, Darren, I don't think so. That may be favorable to some other people than other people. if people are led, maybe there's a bigger company in the room and they're led, their voice is louder than every other person's voice and they go, But again, we still have to be guided by the outcome we're looking for. So what do you think from what I just said? An opportunity, not an opportunity? Or we don't really know much about it yet, so we don't really know really if it's going to be an opportunity or not. Co-design. The ability to shape outcomes together for the community. What's your thought? No takers? Sounds good. All right, I'll call it. Let's put Kat on the stage. Kat, what's your thought?
I think if people engage with us, it's got the potential to be really transformative.
Okay.
I think a lot of procurements go out to the market and people can't beat them.
Okay.
We've just completely missed the mark.
Yeah.
And if we speak to people beforehand, A, it should save us time with fair procurements because we've got nobody coming to bid them. And B, you guys should get something you can actually bid competitively and want to bid for. But it needs councils to take up the opportunity to engage with the market. It needs the market to come and actually actively engage because if nobody wants to talk to us,
Yeah.
you're going to get what we put out, which isn't always the best.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for that thought, Kat. Thank you. Oh, we're going back then. Yeah. Yes. Go ahead, sir.
It feels to me from experience that I think you could be more proactive about our process as well, because the lack of engagement is it can be a fault, can't it, procurement. But I was involved in the BBO projects, which were started many moons ago. But they were very proactive in forming partnerships, and they put the structures in place, and everybody then fitted into those structures. So I think I get the feel that traditionally there's almost a belief in the market, a trust in the market, and maybe the market isn't doing what people are trusting it to do. That seems to be the past. So yeah, that would seem to be.
Okay. No, thanks for that thought about. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Now, increased transparency. And that goes back to what you're saying about that active engagement. This is going to allow us to, be actively engaged in the market, enhanced transparency. Currently, this is what we have. These are the notices we've got to let the market know. But look at that. Now we've got to publish pipeline notices of procurements that are coming to play 18 months before. So you have, you can look and say, okay, I can tender for that. I can tender for that. Okay? Or I know a big company. I can't tender for it because maybe I'm a small business. But, I can see which you're going to get down to. Other big businesses, can I tag along with them? Okay? So the pipeline notices, the planned procurement notices, the pre-market engagement notices, these 3 notices tells you what's coming on, even before. So again, that's more transparency, visibility into what's going to be happening soon. Right? Again, you then have all of other notices, like your contract performance notices, which I think is very key as well. So companies are performing well, you'll be able to see what they're doing in terms of their contract delivery. If they're not, you're going to be able to see that as well. Transparency notice I talked about earlier on in terms of, if you're going to direct award, people need to know. So again, these are all the visibility has been baked. The word transparency does not really actually appear in the Act, but from the things that they've done through these notices, they actually baked visibility into the Act, which I think is going to be good, opportunity for businesses to know what's coming on, what's happening, down the line, further down the line. So these notices would help us achieve that. Okay, any thoughts on that? Yes, sir.
So do those have to happen for every contract, or are they just available to use?
Okay, good question. Now, some of these notices are, for example, maybe the pipeline notice. You've got to publish contract over 5 million. You've got to on that. So there are guardrails about some of these things. I'm not going to give an overview of all of that, but you're right. There's some, what's the word? There's some guardrails into when this needs to be published. So we're talking about tenders over a certain threshold here. So currently over £214,000 is which would apply. But again, I say that we do then have I don't have it here, but there's some things in terms of the below threshold contracts, as well in terms of publication, which I'm not too sure of, but there are some things around that, Yeah. anything below the 214 I just talked about, because then that would then be governed by internal rules. Right now, that the current Procurement Act is governed by, for example, Essex County Council. We'll deal, myself and Kat will deal with anything over £100,000. Anything between £10,000 to £100,000 is going to be dealt with by colleagues using the RFQ process, the request for quotation. So, for example, we'll tell them, the process says you must invite 5 suppliers if you're bidding for anything between 10 to 100K, and 2 of those must be local suppliers. So that's the current rule. So, hope that answers your question. Yeah? Okay. Now, another change is the meet to mat. So currently we say, we tell you, if we're going to consider what does value mean, we're going to talk about the most economic advantageous tender. That's what we consider as valuable. Okay? But now they've made a change under the Procurement Act. It now becomes MAT, which is the most advantageous tender. Somebody may argue that's a play on words, because we've always considered other, quality as part of our evaluation on how we award contracts, not just the price. Somebody else may say, oh, wow, well, they've, removed the race to the bottom line with price. Now you've got to consider more robust factors, sustainability factors, environmental factors, social factors, what's good for the, community. And I think there is such a huge advantage for SMEs there. Current, data shows that SMEs deliver more social value than even the bigger organizations. Now, smaller businesses have good niche, in terms of innovation, adaptability. They adapt to things quickly and change quickly. So again, if the measure now is the most advantageous tender, that's an opportunity there in terms of delivering. You are more closer to the local community needs. You understand those needs better. So that's value that you can bring to your businesses. So again, thoughts around the room regards to that change. Do you see that as a plus? See that as a plus? Yes? Getting nods? Yes? That's a plus. So again, the reason why we're talking about all of this is about start thinking, strategically. How do you position yourself? This is now going to go live. We now have the new date, 24th of February 2025. As a business, how do you position yourself locally to take advantage of these changes coming on? Because that's the way to position strategically. Where do I fit in? How does my business model right now fit into this? And how can I change, or at least align myself to some of these things coming up? Now we move on to performance tracking. Now, businesses will be tracked. And I like this. Because sometimes, we saw what happened with Carillion. Big businesses, you promise this, you're going to do this, you're going to do that on paper, and they don't deliver. That's not going to be the case anymore. Now, you must ensure we pay businesses promptly. We must ensure that we give feedback, which is now called assessment summary. Publication, we now have an obligation to publish how our contracts are doing yearly. Publish 3 KPIs, the key performance indicators, at least 3 of them. And then stronger exclusion framework, so tougher action. If the contractor is not performing well, you may be excluded or you may be excludable. So there will be a debarment list. So again, all of these things are very important so that public money, just like we saw in the objective, is used for public benefit and well. Show of hands at the back. Oh, all right, sorry, it's a warning, sorry. All right, so that's performance tracking. What do you think of that? In terms of, do you see that as a plus for businesses? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, say nodding of it. Yes, we need to know how government money is being spent, and if it's being spent the right way, and people are actually doing what they said they would do. So holding people to account. Okay, and just like the gentleman mentioned earlier in terms of what happened during the pandemic, yes, that's an answer to that.
Is all of those points to be published?
Sorry?
There were 4 bullet points there.
Yeah.
Are they all to be published?
Yes. Yes. It's going to be yes. So that brings us to this central digital platform. This is where everything is now going to be. So more visibility. All suppliers must register on this central digital platform to access public contracts. Everybody must do that. So all the notices we talked about is going to be here. Upcoming opportunities is going to be here. You've got to register and store your details just once. So if you're going to tender for Kent County Council, it's there. Essex County Council, all of those pre-information is there. You don't have to do it twice. It's now simplified, just once. Okay, so that's already on there. She didn't know. Sorry, don't forget the spelling. It's debarment. It's supposed to be E. The debarment list is going to be there. The KPI reporting, going back to your question, is going to be there. Data management is all going to be there. Procurement review units, they will be reviewing what we're doing. Are we following the rules as well? So everybody's going to be held into account following this. So I think this is such a great idea, having everything in one portal, in one place. How do you see that? Thoughts on that? Do you think that's a plus? Yes. Yeah, definitely a plus. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Now, the dynamic markets and frameworks. So that's another change. And this is, because of time, this is really where the advantage is. Right now, we do have closed frameworks. But now we do have closed. We're going to have closed and open. So you can open the framework. At least after once in the first 3 years, you must reopen the framework. And that gives smaller businesses the opportunity to join the framework, at any time. And thereafter, every 5 years. But it cannot go for more than 8 years. But that's a huge opportunity there. The fact that you can reopen frameworks is not closed throughout this duration. You can bid for public contracts. So I think that's a good plus there. Again, we talked about, being able to, under the framework, you can exclude, suppliers that are excludable as well. And again, you can use it for just, previously, the dynamic markets, which is now dynamic market, was previously dynamic purchasing system, previously, but hopefully, I'm hoping, we use it for a lot of things, routine contract, but now in the new act, it's saying, you can use for everything, which is a plus, but below threshold. So again, you can't use for anything below threshold. So, but hopefully with the change, we don't know if that's going to change, but we'll see that. But I think the most important opportunity is the fact that it can be reopened at any time. So you have the privilege of joining it at any time. I think that's where the advantage is. Okay, and I think that's a welcome change, an opportunity for smaller business. You don't have to be close to it, throughout the duration of it. Again, a welcome change. Do people see that as a welcome change? Yes, yes. Okay, and lastly, I think, yes. And then we do have, resources. We've not really talked about Essex and what we're doing with smaller businesses. Myself and Kat are, around to answer your questions. We're in the back room there. But again, we do have information on the new Procurement Act on our website. So if you go to essex.gov, you should see that there. Doing business with the council, we have information. We have help for you, information for suppliers. We do have it there. Help and guidance for SMEs, we have it there. You can, visit there. Benefit for prospective suppliers to the public sector, that's there. So those are useful information and resources you could, access on our website. Any question? That's a whistle stop to the new Procurement Act. Any question? Any question? Oh, you are very clear then. All right, then I'm going to ask the question. You're smiling, so I'm going to come to you. From what you just heard, what are you going to do? What do you plan to do?
Engage with those that we want to bid for to understand what the clarity is,
okay.
What requirements are in place, and now having the understanding that the one platform is possible to engage for a lot of different frameworks, that is something that is, I think, really reassuring. That will save a lot of time and efforts for us.
Okay, that's very good. I'm going to come to you, gentlemen, because you kept nodding, Junior. From what you heard this afternoon,
I found this fascinating. I think the one place, so we regularly tender for lots of different county council businesses.
Yes.
Everyone is asking for something different.
Okay.
Everything is in a slightly different format, and you end up having to invest in every single tender that you're doing. So if some of this is standardised, you actually just talk about the value you can bring rather than repeating all the administration every time.
Yeah.
That appeals greatly.
Okay, good. Yes, you're right. The administrative bit is going to be taken off, and that makes it more efficient for you guys, and in terms of resources and time in bidding for public contracts as well. Any other thoughts around the room as to some of the things? I know we rushed through, but any other thoughts around the room as to how this will help your business? Okay, if not that, what do you think the council should be doing in terms of, I know we've showed you some of the resources that we have. How do you think we can support you more on this journey?
I'm quite keen to explore the help of SMEs, because I think the things that people have been talking about, the sheer, you need a team, don't you, to deal with the way it was before, and we're quite small. So,
okay.
The
help.
From understanding that, we'll come to the answer to your question. And I guess what you've just asked is what's the feedback into developing this, or is it a done deal? So
this is now a done deal. This change is going to go live in February 2024. I'm asking from the local perspective, how do we then support our local suppliers? Because we want to do more with you guys. How do we support you going forward? So is it training more about this and anything? Myself and Kat, earlier this year, we did, engage with some SMEs in how do you tender for public contract, So we normally do that through Let's Do Business with Essex Group or something like that. So again, watch out for such things. Meet the Buyer event is coming up in February. You can watch out for such events in Stansted. So again, those are events that you may want to come, and you're going to meet procurement colleagues who will be able to answer questions along this area as well. Yeah. Yes, sir.
What's your plan on pushing this out so everybody gets to know about it, who should know about it?
Okay.
At the moment in this room, we'll obviously know about the things which we didn't know before we came in here, but there's obviously going to be other businesses which are going to benefit from this. How are you going to get this out to them?
Oh, thank you. That's a great question. You're right. And maybe that's what myself and Kat can take back and really. But again, maybe through the Let's Do Business with Essex Group, maybe we need to be signposting people to our website, because all of this information is on our website. How business should be, preparing and all of those. It's on our website. We have it there. But you're right. We do have an obligation to push out the narrative more. And we need to maybe, plug in with all of the other businesses or departments of the council that you have out there who actually, communicate with you guys more. And maybe we need to be doing that as well, from the procurement angle, or signposting them to some of these resources, saying, please, can you, advertise it on some of the events that you have on your website or different platforms? Maybe we need to be doing that as well. Yeah.
Just following on from that, actually, I was going to ask about the visibility of the contracts themselves.
Okay.
Because sometimes it can be difficult to know where you should be looking in order to find out what opportunities are available. Because it may well be on some of those links, but there's 2 or 3 links, so it could be in any of them. Is there something that would just make it a little bit more streamlined, that where to look?
Yeah.
In one place for.
Okay. For now, I think your best bet is to go to Contract Finder.
Right.
Yes. And then register on there for what you do, so that whenever there's an opportunity in that area, you get notification. Because this is not going to come until February 2025. But for now, I think that's the best thing for you to do, to see the odd opportunities that are out there. Yeah. Yes, sir.
With the kind of digital platform, I'm assuming the kind of contracts will be at county level. Is there kind of a drive and appetite to bring that to district level as well? Because we're set up for multiple different platforms for the districts as well. It'd be lovely if everything within the kind of county was all within one place.
Every business is going to be able to register on there. And remember, different, even your borough councils and everything, they spend lesser than than the bigger ones. They will be putting their stuff out there as well. So that will be on as well. So again, everybody, for tendering, And then something ran out of my mind as you just said that. Oh yeah. Also in Essex, we have what we call our sustainability charter. What we do is to encourage our tier 1 contractors to do business with SMEs and with the local suppliers. So we're encouraging that, and we're trying to drive that. One of the projects I'm working on is how do we increase our spend with our local suppliers. So we're looking at that strategically. And a lot of conversation of how do we do that practically is coming on. Do we have a list of what we're buying somewhere? But you and I know that with lists, it goes out of date sometimes if it's not kept up and everything. So we're thinking of how to do that strategically and get that engagement going. At our table now, our data shows we spend 44% of our spend is with SMEs. But the question is, how good is that? Is that good? What area does all of that in? So we're trying to do that. So, but going back to your question, it will still be, you can access that through the central digital platform going forward. Yeah. Okay. Any more before we call it a day? Thank you so much for your time. You guys have been fantastic. Okay. But please do connect with us. Thank you very much.